7 VQ. 7 is heaven, that's what I always say, and that's what the 7s are going for. 7 VQs are going for heaven on earth. They're going for the greatest possible feeling of love. They're going for a spiritual love, and they're going for spiritual love making. 7 VQs are intuitive lovers. They're intuitively led, and they live in the psychic realm. They give and receive psychically more than they give and receive anything else. And so 7 VQs often are stories of ladies particular with far off past life lovers and connections to several lovers. 7 VQs tend to have a very secret love life. They have many lovers, and you could say that they have love stories going on. They're really kind of polygamous, and technically have love stories going on their whole life, several love stories. Even if they're with one person, they are still connected psychically to all these other soulmates and partners and whatnot. So the 7 VQs are very interesting. Now the 7 VQs need to get a real grounding with their own psychic awareness and what it's telling them before they get in the love business. Their maturity mark is whether or not they have a spiritual life themselves. The 7 VQs are one where you must go to yoga, do some sort of practice where you're connecting to your spiritual sense and you're figuring out your weird senses before you get into a love relationship. Why is that? Because the 7 VQs are so psychic. You're a lover that will know instantly if your partner is cheating or lying or holding energy back. And that's why you have to be so spiritually grounded yourself before you go into the situation. Because if you're not, you're going to misread and you're going to project your own things that you're not paying attention to onto your lover. So the 7 VQs can really project a lot of crap onto their lovers and can project past life stuff very easily. One of the things about 7 VQs is you're dealing with a lot of past life love, and that means that you might have a past life lover that comes back. You might have like as far as soulmate situations, yeah, like maybe 7 of them. Consider 7 soulmates, and really probably none of them are the ones you choose for this life. You end up choosing the new, fresh, interesting one. So the 7s have to be really in touch with their spirituality before getting involved in love, and usually they drag the 2 in together. You know, they end up spiritually growing because the love shows them. And that's, you know, honestly, listen to me, I would sleep with a 7. Seriously though, 7s are amazing. So it's like, I personally would connect to a 7 any day of the week. I'm just talking about the fact that they really need to know what their past life issues are coming to the table. The 7 VQs tend to chase after what they're told to. You really can't even guess what a 7 is going to be attracted to because it's past life almost always, and there's a sense about it. One of the romantic parts of the 7 VQs is that they've always known they'd have a love, and there's like a, you know, and they strive for that love their whole life, and they're always looking out the window for that love. And to me, that's extremely romantic, and so they're looking for that. That's what they chase after. What a 7 focuses on really actually is how do I put this? Empathetic connection. A 7 almost is like a teddy bear energy. A 7 VQ wants to just teddy bear, be there with you all the time, and they want to feel that kind of furry connection all the time to who they're with. Their emotional focus is on peace and on quiet, really. There's a lot of quiet focus for the 7s. When the 7 VQs can't get quiet, that's because they don't have that spiritual component I was talking about. So you do have a lot of restless 7s. You do have a lot of alcoholic 7s. You do have a lot of escapist 7s. Those are the 7s who are avoiding God consciousness and are looking for God in other ways, but usually not the right ways. It's right through here in the heart. So the emotional personality of a 7 is very gentle, very sweet, very compassionate, empathetic, maybe not strong enough in some cases. They're so empathetic that the 7 VQs sometimes can't hold their own in the relationship, and sometimes can end up adding weight. Sometimes a 7 VQ can come off very heavy, even though they want to be light, because the empathy turns out to be doubling the weight of the situation and not lightening it up like it's meant to be. The defensiveness of a 7 VQ is not very defensive at all. Their whole process is to open up, especially psychically, especially sexually and romantically. So a 7 VQ is not good at the I protect, the hidden step, right? So most of the numbers are not good at I protect, 7 included. The 7 VQs always tend to be overly hurt even after they learn where the boundary is. The 7 VQs tend to have a problem defending themselves even after the lesson. In fact, 7 VQs tend to not defend themselves lifetimes later. So I would say really protecting yourself and being aware and mindful of what your limits are and where you're going to draw the circle and how far you're willing to swim in that direction is vitally important when you're a 7 VQ. You have to be more conscious of your protection and defensiveness. The likeliness to commit of a 7 VQ is a total gamble. It's got to be really a match made in heaven. If it is, you can't get rid of them. If it isn't, where'd they go? The weird thing about the commitments to a 7 VQ is it's very much committed to the moment. So, if a 7 VQ can't be with the one they love the one they're with. And that's interesting about the 7 VQs. So they're very committed to the moment. They're very committed to the potential of that second, but that's about it. After that, it's a string of moments that they end up becoming committed to. And if you're dating a 7 VQ, that's what you got to deal with. If they show up the next morning, they still love you, they're still with you. When it comes to sexual connection, it's funny, the 7 VQs are very willing to go any way and connect to any partner. They tend to be a bit intellectual when it comes to sexual connections, and that's because I think they're so emotional, empathetic otherwise. So because you tend to be very empathetic in life and everywhere and feel like an open wound, sexually they tend to be a bit more intellectual, a bit more detached actually. However, what they're looking for is bliss and heaven on earth and Venus itself. So, I have never heard anyone complain about a 7 VQ. Never. No one's ever who's gonna complain, right? So I think that's where it is in bed. If you have 7 in the master column of your VQ algorithm, then you have a huge issue with listening to your intuition, and you must master your psychic awareness. Whether your VQ is 7 or not, a 7 in the master number means that you must get on your knees and connect to God at least once a day, that you could easily bring in something negative as well as something positive, and then only checking your higher self will tell you what's going to go on there. That's if the 7 is in the master number there. Now, if the 7 is in the proficient number, that happens 2 places, a 17 and a 27. In the case of a 17, this is one where you're using your intuition to actually decide. So no matter what your Venus is, if your quotient is 17, the 7 means you must listen to your psychic awareness before you commit. And if you get a yes, go for it. If you don't get a yes, don't do it. All right, don't commit. And ultimately, it's a commitment you're looking for at 17, and you're looking to commit. The 27s are not looking for a commitment. Strangely enough, you're looking for ridiculous passion. 27 is a grandmaster number of passion. If you're a 9 VQ, by the way, 27, then call me up. Just kidding. But seriously, you might melt people down. That's like China syndrome. But the 7 means that your emotions are already pretty passionate as a 2. And the 7 means better check with God before you go. And if God says yes, definitely go. There's no question about foot on the gas there. All right? So no matter what kind of 7 you are, 7 is lucky because 7 is heaven, connects you to your psychic awareness. 7 VQs, 7 masteries, and the proficient ending 7s. It is all about connecting to your psychic awareness. So if you're watched over by gavenus.com, my text message business and email service where I watch over you based on your VQ, for the 7 VQs, I'm always really helping you stay connected to your higher self, help you stay connected to what your intuition is, and giving you feedback tools in your playback books that help you to become aware of your patterns, dreams, symbols, and otherwise. And that's what we do in GA Venus for the 7 VQs. All right, thanks for clicking.
So